Hello and welcome to the Introduction to Magnum training video. We're going to kind of go over some of the basics of Magnum and some of the editing features and then get into a little more advanced stuff and also some tips and tricks and troubleshooting and things you might run into with Magnum. So if you at home want to follow along, or if you want to do editing on your own time or practice or whatever, a good way of doing that is with a program called VirtualBox. Some of you may already use this, some of you may not, but to download it, we go to virtualbox.org, and you get into here, we go to downloads, and then you select the platform that you're on. If you have a PC, a Windows-based PC, you download this one. If you're on a Mac, you download this one, and I'm on a Mac, so that's what I'm going to do, and just save it to my desktop. And then you also want this extension pack, and that's good for both Windows or Mac computers. And then you want to figure out what version of Magnum do you want. So in this case, I'm going to go to 94, and you go to the normal truck Magnum site that you would go to, 10.20.5.5/Magnum. You log in, admin, and then you go over here to help and about. And what this is going to do is tell you what version of Magnum your truck is currently on. So in this case, it's 1.14.3. Now the other thing you want to pay attention to is the web config version. This one's 2.19.9. So say, for example, you load 1.14.3 onto VirtualBox. You can import a show into VirtualBox that was built on 1.13 or even 1.9, and it will work. But what you have to be careful of is going the other way. If you edit a version of Magnum that you're at 1.14, you can't go back and put it on a truck that the servers are running 1.9. What you can do, if you have two trucks, say one of them is, or a show file, one of them's on 113.9 and one's 113.10, as long as they're running the same version of web config, you can actually share files between those trucks. But if the web config files are different, you'll get an error and you won't be able to load it. So if you want one that's on your truck, it's a real good idea to check these numbers carefully so that you know when you're working offline, the shows that you do will be able to load back onto your truck. So you want this to match, and you want the web config number to match. So we know that we want 114.3. So to get this, we go into our company Gmail account, and you see these little boxes up in the upper right hand corner. I'm going to click on that one time and go to Google Drive. And here we want to go to Shared with Me. And this Magnum VM folder. These are the virtual machines. And this is most of the different versions of Magnum that we're currently running. So I wanted this 1.14.3 and download it to my desktop. Save that. So that's going. Let's install VirtualBox. So I downloaded from the website to my desktop, and I double clicked on the installer. So let's click on this icon, continue, install. And this password is just for my computer. My computer requires a password when you're installing a program on it. Your computer may not. That's just a local thing. There is no password associated with the VirtualBox. And then you also want to install this extension pack. And I already have it on here, but I'm going to say reinstall. Again, because I'm installing something. So now we have that, and we want to import the appliance that we just downloaded from the shared Google Drive. So to do that, we go up here to File and Import Appliance. It's the very top part of the screen. And I'm going to navigate to it. It's on my desktop. And this is the Magnum 1.14.3 clean licensed. I'm going to bring that in. So now I have the image in VirtualBox. But the first thing we have to do is set up the virtual network. So on a Mac, you hit Command and comma, and that brings up the general settings tab of VirtualBox. And in here you go to network and host only network, and there's this little green plus sign. You click on that, and that brings up this VBox Net 0 that it created, and that's your virtual network that it's going to use. Now you can click once on this and go into settings, and it's a good idea to check and see if you have any errors that would be down in this box that would keep it from running. So an example of that is if this program has more RAM than what your local computer can do. For example, if I was to max this out, at the bottom it would say invalid settings, and if you move your cursor over to it, it tells you what the error is. So you just have to kind of pay attention to that. And then you also want to go in network and make sure that it's set to host only adapter and that it's VBox Net 0. That's the one we just created. So all of that is good. We can cancel out of that, and now we can launch the system. So this is going to launch a virtual computer inside your computer, and it's going to be a virtual image of the server, like our Magnum servers on the truck. So if we want to see what it's doing right now, you go to this website, 192.168.56.101/Magnum, and you get this bad gateway. You may have seen this on the trucks before when you just power up and the servers aren't ready. So in order to check and see what its status is, we go to a program called Monit. And to get there, it's 192.168.56.101:2812. And if it asks you for a username and password, it's admin for the username and admin for the password, all lowercase. And this shows you what the real status is. And this will work on your truck as well. Whatever truck you're on, this is just part of the Magnum process. And you'll see all the different processes starting up, getting ready to go. And the one we're concerned about is the web config one. We want to see that one up and running. And it's not just yet. So some of the other things that are going on in here, we can look at Zeus, for example. Zeus is the router control process. That's device sync, status, route requests, lock protects, that kind of thing. Triton is over here. That's the client interface process that deals with control panels, advanced routes, quick routes, that kind of thing. This one up here, this NGINX, is the web server interface that hosts the Magnum web interface. And on any one of these processes, if you click on them, you get more information and you can start them. Like this fake sys, for example. We can click on it, and it brings up more information about the program. That's the same for any of the ones that are in there. And we're going to want to start this service. And what this one does is it simulates hardware, so you can actually make routes in your VirtualBox. So normally this does not run on a truck system because there actually is hardware, but in this case it does. So now we can go to home. Let's see how we're doing here. The web config is now says it's running, and 0, which is good. If it's at 12%, that's actually 100% because there's so many different processes. If any one of them is at 12, it's actually 100. And we go back and look at our VirtualBox, and we see Magnum up here. That means it's up and running. So now let's go back here and look in on our stunt double. And now we have the normal start page that we're used to seeing. And the login is the same as it is on the trucks. Admin for the username, admin for the password. And we can log in. Now when we get here, this is a totally clean system. There's nothing on it. So we're going to have to import something to see it. So I'm going to go get a file, show file. So if I go to admin, configuration management, and I go to import config, I'm going to choose a file. And in this case, I've already grabbed one from 94, so I'm going to grab that one. And I'm going to import it. And we're going to start bringing that in. And when you go in initially, most of you have probably seen this page before. This is the welcome or the home screen you get when you go into Magnum after you log in with the admin. And the devices shows you connected devices to the router. So you have the EMR frame, which is the audio frame, the EQX frame, which does the video, and you have your VIPs. If the EMR frame is not connected, for example, you won't have any audio, so you might have to reboot the frame. So that's always a good thing to check. The panel shows you connected panels, but this is not really real time, so it's not 100% accurate. You may see panels that are missing or not there that actually are, and it may show panels that are working that actually are not working. So it's just kind of a rough guide, but it's not really 100% accurate all the time. System health shows you how the different processes are doing and the CPU is doing. And then routes will actually show you real-time routes. If someone routes on a router head, you'll see it pop up here. All the different levels, the video and audio levels will pop up, but it only stays for a couple seconds. So unless someone's actually routing, you don't see it. So now we're just going to wait until this file is done importing, and then we'll start doing some programming.